The Awakening. Admiral Jack Harris stood at the bridge of the EDF Resilient, staring at the holographic display of Earth's devastated southern hemisphere. Smoke clouds still obscured vast swathes of what once was Australia and most of South Africa. He clenched his jaw, remembering the billions lost in what the survivors now called the Awakening. "Status report," he commanded, his voice betraying none of the grief that threatened to consume him. Commander Liz Moore approached, her uniform still bearing scorch marks from her narrow escape during the evacuation of Luna Base. "The Galactic Council maintains their blockade, sir. Their ambassador insists Earth surrender unconditionally and accept guided development under Directive 774. And the rest of our fleet, Admiral Reed's battle group reports ready at Neptune. Admiral Wilson holds position in the asteroid belt. General Torres has the ground forces prepared for the counteroffensive." She hesitated. "Sir, the Council fleet outguns us 5-1. Jack nodded slowly. "And yet they hesitate. They've bombarded our cities, killed our people, but they won't commit to a full invasion. They're afraid." From the science station, Dr. Alan Wright spoke up. "They should be. For 300 years, we've maintained the charade, trading peacefully, playing the role of an unremarkable species. We handicapped our ships, regulated our soldiers' augmentations, suppressed our true technological capabilities." The bridge fell silent. Humanity's greatest secret, the truth that had been hidden from the galaxy for centuries, weighed heavily on them all. "The Council believes they're punishing us for developing quantum phase technology," Jack said. "They don't realize we had it 2 centuries ago. They don't understand what we've been holding back." Through the view screen, Jack watched as another Council dreadnought took position above what remained of Paris. Their arrogance was palpable, certain in their technological superiority, convinced of humanity's weakness. "They've given us 12 hours to surrender," Liz reported. Jack's face hardened. "Then we have 11 hours to prepare. Send the coded message to all Earth Defense Force commanders. Protocol Prometheus is now in effect." Dr. Wright looked up sharply. "Sir, once we reveal our true capabilities, there's no going back. The galaxy will never see humanity the same way again." "They should have thought of that before they killed half our planet," Jack replied, his voice cold with resolve. Across the solar system, hidden facilities began powering up systems dormant for generations. Deep beneath Earth's oceans and scattered throughout asteroid bases, weapons platforms that had been disguised as research stations initialized combat protocols. Within the Kuiper Belt, massive shipyards unveiled vessels of war, unlike anything the Council races had ever encountered. Humanity had played the part of the peaceful newcomer, the eager student of galactic civilization, but Earth had never been as primitive as they pretended. The Council races had mistaken careful restraint for weakness, diplomatic caution for fear. As Jack gave the order to prepare for battle, he remembered the ancient warning that had guided Earth's strategy since first contact: appear weak when you're strong. The galaxy was about to learn that humans had never shown their true strength. And now, with their home world burning and their people slaughtered, they had no reason to hold back anymore. "All ships," Jack commanded, "prepared to reveal our real fleet. It's time the galaxy learned what humanity is truly capable of." The Council flagship Eternal Justice hung in Earth orbit like a gleaming dagger. Inside its ornate command chamber, High Admiral Vex studied the human defensive positions with disdain. "Primitives," he muttered, his scaled skin shimmering under the blue light of tactical displays. 3 centuries in space, and they still rely on chemical propellants and basic shield technology. His second-in-command, Captain Mira, wasn't so confident. "The humans have always been unpredictable, Admiral. Their surrender terms remain unanswered because they know resistance is futile," Vex replied. "Their most advanced ships can barely match our support vessels. Their weapons are centuries behind ours." He gestured dismissively at the holographic display of Earth's defense fleet, a scattered collection of ships that appeared outdated and underarmed. A communications officer interrupted. "Admiral, we're detecting unusual energy signatures throughout the solar system." Vex frowned. "Specify." "Unknown, sir. They're unlike anything in our database." Across the chamber, the tactical officer suddenly straightened. "Sir, multiple new contacts appearing there. They're coming from inside the gas giants." The display flickered as hundreds of new signals emerged from Jupiter and Saturn, massive vessels that had been hidden within the planet's storms. More signals appeared from beneath the lunar surface, from asteroids that suddenly split open like hatching eggs, from ocean depths that had concealed entire fleets. Impossible, Vex whispered, watching as the human forces suddenly quintupled in size. On the EDF Resilient, Jack gave the command they had waited 3 centuries to issue. Disengage limiters. All ships switched to true tech systems. Across the human fleet, ships began to transform. Armored panels shifted, revealing weapon systems that had been cleverly disguised as structural components. Engines that had been deliberately throttled to appear less advanced suddenly flared with energy signatures that baffled Council sensors. Dr. Wright stood at Jack's side, watching the transformation with a mixture of pride and apprehension. Every diplomatic mission, every trade negotiation, all while we studied their weaknesses, reverse-engineered their technologies and improved upon them, and kept our true capabilities hidden. Until they gave us no choice, Jack added. The Council fleet responded with predictable confusion, formations breaking as commanders tried to assess this sudden change in the tactical situation. High Admiral Vex recovered quickly. A bluff. These humans think to frighten us with hidden ships and light shows, open fire on their flagship, show them the consequence of defiance. The Eternal Justice's main cannon charged, targeting the Resilient. The beam lashed out, powerful enough to shatter any normal human vessel. It struck an invisible barrier 10 km from Jack's ship and dispersed harmlessly into space. Phase shields holding at 100%, Liz reported calmly. They don't even know what they're looking at. Jack nodded. Return fire, single shot, minimal power, let's give them one last chance to withdraw. A beam no thicker than a pencil erupted from the Resilient. It pierced the Eternal Justice's shields as if they weren't there, drilling a precise hole through the ship's command tower. Across the Council fleet, commanders watched in horror as their flagship's lights flickered and died. The Eternal Justice began to drift, its propulsion systems offline. Attention Council forces, Jack broadcast on all frequencies. For 300 years, humanity has hidden its true face from the galaxy. You mistook our restraint for weakness. You have 1 hour to leave our solar system. After that, we will no longer show mercy. In the silence that followed, the galaxy's balance of power shifted forever. The Grand Council chamber on Galactic Hub Station hummed with panicked voices. Representatives from 87 species argued, accused, and pleaded as reports from Earth continued to arrive. 3 of our dreadnoughts destroyed, 4 more disabled, shouted Chancellor Dorn of the Valkyrie Imperium, his metallic exoskeleton clicking with agitation. The humans were supposed to be primitives. Supreme Counselor Talia, the elegant representative of the Arcadian Confederation, maintained her composure despite the chaos. We've all been deceived. The question is why? Why would humans hide their true capabilities for centuries? To lull us into complacency, obviously, growled Representative Gort of the Tauran Alliance. While we accepted them into our galactic community, they studied us prepared for war. The ancient Quarren delegate, Elder Pax, raised a gnarled hand for silence. As the oldest species in the Council, the Quarians commanded respect. You misunderstand humanity's deception. Ask yourselves, if they possessed this technology all along, why didn't they use it to conquer? Why trade fairly, respect our borders, and abide by most of our regulations? Silence fell as the delegates considered this. Elder Pax continued, my species has observed many civilizations rise and fall. The humans weren't preparing for war, they were avoiding it. They hid their strength because they feared our reaction. Back in Earth's orbit, the remnants of the Council fleet retreated in disarray. The Eternal Justice had been towed away by its support ships, its command structure in chaos. On the Resilient, Jack received reports from across the solar system. All Council forces withdrawing beyond the Kuiper Belt, Admiral. No casualties on our side, minimal damage to 17 vessels, Liz reported. And the Council's losses, Jack asked. Liz reviewed the data. 3 capital ships destroyed when they tried to push through to Earth, 27 vessels disabled but salvageable, no other confirmed destructions. Our commanders followed your orders to disable rather than destroy when possible. Jack nodded, his expression grim. The restraint will send its own message. Dr. Wright approached with a tablet displaying incoming transmissions. Admiral, we're receiving communications from nearly every major power in the galaxy. Some threatening, many cautious, a few surprisingly supportive. Supportive. Yes, it seems not everyone agrees with the Council's decision to bombard Earth. The Arcadian Confederation and the Free Systems Alliance are both condemning the attack and calling for immediate peace negotiations. That's something at least, Jack said. What about the Phase Gate network? The Council has shut down all gates leading to our system, Liz reported. They're trying to isolate us. Jack smiled for the first time in days. Activate our own gate system. Across the solar system, hidden installations powered up. For centuries, humanity had been building its own parallel network of phase gates, keeping them dormant and shielded from detection. Now, as the 7 massive rings activated, new pathways through spacetime opened, routes that bypassed the Council's network entirely. Send the diplomatic package through to all non-aggressive powers, Jack ordered. Make it clear we have no desire for conquest, only security and justice for our people. And the phase gate coordinates, asked Liz. Send them only to our proven allies. The others will need to earn our trust again. As the human response rippled through the galaxy, species that had long operated under the Council's shadow recognized an opportunity. Earth had done what none had dared. They had challenged the dominance of the old powers and they had won. In the Council chamber, the debates continued, but the balance had clearly shifted. Humanity was no longer a curiosity or a minor player, but a force that could not be ignored or controlled. We should have seen it, Elder Pax mused quietly to Supreme Counselor Talia. No species advances as quickly as humans did without prior knowledge. They were holding back all along. The question now, Talia replied, is what else are they hiding? The orbital shipyards above Mars buzzed with activity as the reconstruction fleet prepared for departure. Massive vessels designed not for war but for healing, carrying atmosphere processors, climate stabilizers, and habitat modules, assembled in formation. On Earth, the devastation remained catastrophic. What had once been vibrant cities were now cratered wastelands. The equatorial regions had suffered the worst bombardment, and billions of refugees huddled in the protection of northern havens, where advanced shield systems had preserved some semblance of civilization. Jack stood in a temporary command center in what remained of Geneva, reviewing reconstruction plans with Earth's surviving leadership. The Southern Hemisphere needs priority, insisted Director Kate Lee of Global Recovery. Australia is completely uninhabitable and Africa's ecosystems are collapsing. With respect, Director, countered General Torres, we need to maintain our defensive posture. The Council retreated, but they haven't surrendered. They're regrouping, analyzing our capabilities, searching for weaknesses. Jack understood both perspectives. The reconstruction fleet launches tomorrow with full military escort. Dr. Wright has developed atmospheric processors that work 10 times faster than anything we've revealed to the galaxy. We can begin climate restoration immediately. President Tom Wilson, one of the few world leaders to survive the attack, looked haggard but determined. What about the phase gates? The Council is spreading propaganda that we're preparing for an invasion of their core systems. Let them talk, Jack replied. Our gates are defensive, giving us routes the Council doesn't control. We've shared access with 17 non-Council worlds already, creating alliances they can't block. And the Arcadian offer of mediation, asked President Wilson. Supreme Counselor Talia seemed sincere. The Arcadians opposed the attack on Earth from the beginning. They could be valuable allies. The meeting was interrupted by an urgent alert. Commander Lismore entered, her expression grave. Admiral, we've intercepted Council communications. They're enacting Containment Protocol Omega. The room fell silent. Containment Protocol Omega was the Council's most extreme measure, a complete quarantine of a system deemed too dangerous to exist within the galactic community. How long, Jack asked. Their fleet will reassemble within 2 weeks, nearly triple the force that attacked Earth initially. Jack turned to the holographic display of the solar system. Then we have 2 weeks to ensure they fail. General Torres, activate the outer system defense grid. Director Lee, accelerate evacuation of vulnerable areas, move everyone to shield-protected zones. Dr. Wright, I need timeline projections for Project Vanguard. As the others rushed to comply, President Wilson remained. Project Vanguard, I wasn't briefed on this. Jack hesitated, then nodded. It was classified beyond top secret, sir. Even most of the Defense Council wasn't aware. He activated a secure display showing schematics of what appeared to be massive engines. For the past century, we've been developing technology to move celestial bodies. The president stared in disbelief. You're planning to move Earth. Not Earth, Jack corrected. The entire solar system, if necessary. We've installed gravitic engines on strategic asteroids, moons, even within the outer planets. If the Council won't allow us to exist in their orderly galaxy, we'll take our system elsewhere. That's impossible, Wilson whispered. No more impossible than the phase shields they thought we couldn't develop, or the precision weapons they believed were beyond us. Jack's expression was resolute. Humanity has always prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. Project Vanguard is our final contingency. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden installations continued to reveal themselves. Defense platforms emerged from Jupiter's moons. Shipyards uncloaked around Saturn's rings. A vast network of sensors and weapons that had been disguised as natural formations or defunct satellites activated, creating a defensive shell unprecedented in galactic history. Meanwhile, in the Kuiper Belt, probes detected the first wave of Council reinforcements arriving through their phase gate network. They're coming sooner than expected, Liz reported. Jack nodded grimly. Then we'll be ready sooner than expected. Tell Dr. Wright to begin Phase 1 of Project Vanguard. Let's show the Council what happens when humanity truly stops holding back. The massive Council armada gathered at the edge of the solar system, a collection of warships from 24 species, united in their determination to contain the human threat. At its center floated the newly commissioned super dreadnought Galactic Judgment, a vessel 3 times larger than any previously deployed in Council history. Grand Admiral Krell, a veteran of 17 interstellar conflicts, addressed the assembled fleet commanders via holographic conference. His forearms gestured emphatically as he spoke. The humans have revealed technology that violates multiple Council prohibitions. Their phase shields alone represent a Category 7 infraction. Their precision weapons and hidden fleet constitute deception, warranting immediate intervention. The commanders nodded in agreement, though several appeared uneasy. We underestimated them before, continued Krell. We will not make the same mistake. This fleet carries enough firepower to reduce Earth to molten slag 10 times over. We attack in formation, overwhelming their defenses with simultaneous strikes from multiple vectors. As the Council fleet prepared for their assault, activity within the solar system reached fever pitch. Humanity's defensive preparations had expanded beyond anything the galaxy had ever witnessed. Jupiter's moons now bristled with weapon systems. Mars had revealed a planetary shield that could withstand bombardment for weeks. Even Mercury had been transformed into a massive energy collection station, gathering solar power to feed Earth's defenses. Aboard the Resilient, now positioned near Saturn, Jack received the latest intelligence. The Council fleet will be in attack position within 6 hours, reported Liz. Over 4,000 vessels, including their new super dreadnought. Jack studied the tactical display and our allies. The Arcadian Confederation has denounced the Council's actions and withdrawn their ships. The Free Systems Alliance is sending humanitarian aid, but can't offer military support without risking Council retaliation against their home worlds. Understandable, Jack nodded. Status of Project Vanguard. Dr. Wright approached with the latest data. Phase 1 complete. The gravitic engines are fully operational and synchronized. We can begin stellar repositioning on your command. And the civilian evacuations. 93% of the population is now within protected zones, General Torres reported. The remaining 7% are in remote areas or refuse to relocate. Jack took a deep breath. Send one final message to the Council fleet. Offer them the chance to withdraw and pursue diplomatic solutions. Minutes later, the response came, surrender unconditionally or face extinction. You have 1 hour to comply. Jack's expression hardened. Very well, initiate Project Vanguard full activation. Throughout the solar system, massive engines embedded in celestial bodies hummed to life, on Pluto in the asteroid belt within the moons of gas giants and in strategic positions around the sun itself. Humanity's greatest technological achievement began its work. The fabric of spacetime rippled. Sensors on the Council fleet detected massive energy surges unlike anything in recorded history. What are they doing? Demanded Krell as alarms blared across his flagship. The answer came as a visible distortion spread across the solar system. Stars seemed to bend around its edges as gravity itself was manipulated on a scale previously thought impossible. Sir, a science officer reported, panic evident in their voice. They're creating a localized phase bubble around their entire system. Impossible, Krell roared. No technology could. His words were cut short as the space before the Council fleet began to shimmer. The sun, planets, and all objects within the solar system seemed to flicker, as though reality itself was having a seizure. In the Resilience Command Center, Jack gripped his console as the ship shuddered. Status. Phase bubble expanding as projected, Dr. Wright answered, his voice filled with awe at his own creation. The entire solar system is shifting partially out of normal spacetime, meaning the Council fleet can still see us, still detect us, but their weapons. A barrage of energy beams from the approaching Council armada demonstrated the effect. The weapon's fire rippled harmlessly against the bubble's edge, dissipating into sparks of useless energy. "You cannot touch us," Dr. Wright finished. For 3 centuries, humanity had hidden its capabilities from the galaxy. Now, as the Council fleet watched helplessly, Earth revealed its ultimate defense: the ability to shift an entire solar system just slightly sideways to reality, creating a sanctuary that could not be breached by conventional means. "Send to all Earth forces," Jack ordered. "Phase 2 begins now." Grand Admiral Krell's flagship rocked violently as another system-wide gravitational wave washed over the Council fleet. For 3 days, they had maintained their position, probing the phase bubble that now protected the solar system, searching for weaknesses. None had been found. "Status report," Krell demanded. His science officer looked up from her console, mandibles quivering with stress. "The humans have achieved complete phase isolation, Admiral. Our weapons cannot penetrate their bubble." However, she hesitated. "I continue." "They can still affect us. The gravitational manipulations are precisely calculated. They've already disabled 27 of our ships by creating localized distortions that overload propulsion systems." Krell slammed a fist onto his command chair. How can they be doing this? Even with hidden technology, the energy requirements to phase shift an entire system should be impossible. "That's what we're trying to understand, sir. They appear to be using the sun itself as a power source, but amplifying it through means we cannot comprehend." Meanwhile, within the protected bubble of the solar system, humanity had moved to phase 2 of their response. Jack stood on the observation deck of the Resilient, watching as a massive installation took shape near Earth's moon. The structure resembled a giant ring nearly 100 km in diameter. "The first Nexus gate will be operational within hours," Dr. Wright reported, joining him at the viewport. "Once active, it will allow instantaneous transportation to any location where we've placed a receiving node." "And our allies have all received nodes?" Jack asked. "Yes, 17 worlds that oppose the Council's attack now have hidden Nexus receivers. The moment we activate the gate, we'll have a transportation network entirely separate from the Council's phase gates and exponentially faster." Jack nodded. "And the diplomatic package?" Liz approached with a data tablet. "Transmitted to all major powers as ordered, Admiral. We've outlined everything: our history of technological suppression, why we hid our capabilities, and our terms for peaceful coexistence." "The response?" "Mixed," Liz admitted. "The older Council races remain hostile, but over 40 systems have expressed support for our position. The Arcadian Confederation has formally proposed a new galactic alliance structure, one where Earth would have equal standing with the founding races." Jack turned as President Wilson joined them on the observation deck. The president looked better than he had days ago, more rested, more hopeful. "Admiral," Wilson greeted him, "the Global Recovery Council has approved your proposal for the colony ships." Jack nodded in satisfaction. "Good. We'll need to expand beyond Earth now that our true capabilities are known. The nearby star systems will provide security through dispersal." "What about the Council fleet?" Wilson asked, nodding toward the swarm of distant lights visible beyond the phase bubble's shimmer. "They're in disarray," Liz reported. "Their weapons are useless against us, and our gravitational manipulations have disabled dozens of their ships. Several contingents have already withdrawn." "And the super dreadnought?" "Still present, still searching for a way to penetrate our defenses." Jack studied the distant flagship through the viewport. "They built that ship for one purpose: to destroy Earth. They won't give up easily." As if in response to his words, alarms suddenly blared throughout the Resilient. The tactical display showed a massive energy buildup within the galactic judgment. They're charging their main weapon, Liz reported tensely. Energy readings are off the scale. They've diverted power from their entire fleet. Will the phase bubble hold? President Wilson asked. Dr. Wright checked his instruments, face grave. Uncertain. They're attempting something unprecedented, a multiphasic cannon designed to punch through dimensional barriers if they succeed. Jack made his decision instantly. Prepare a surgical strike team. I want our best phase ships ready to launch immediately. Sir, Liz questioned. We've shown restraint, we've offered peace, but I will not risk Earth's safety again, Jack's voice hardened. If they fire that weapon, we'll have seconds to respond. I want that ship disabled permanently. Across the solar system, humanity's most advanced warships, vessels that had remained hidden even after the initial revelation, moved into position. Unlike the defensive fleet that had repelled the first attack, these ships were built for one purpose: overwhelming offensive capability. On the Galactic Judgment, Admiral Krell watched as his ultimate weapon charged to maximum capacity. The humans think their phase bubble makes them invulnerable, he growled to his officers. They're about to learn otherwise. Fire when ready. The massive cannon began its firing sequence as Jack gave his own command. All strike teams execute Operation Checkmate. The galaxy was about to witness the full extent of what humanity had been holding back. The Galactic Judgment's multiphasic cannon fired, its beam cutting across space like a surgeon's scalpel, designed to slice through the dimensional barrier humanity had erected. For a breathless moment, it seemed as though the weapon might succeed. The phase bubble rippled and distorted where the energy beam struck. But as quickly as the distortion appeared, it stabilized. The bubble held. And then humanity responded. 7 ships, vessels unlike any the Council had ever witnessed, blinked into existence around the super dreadnought. While humanity's defensive fleet had revealed impressive but recognizable technology, these attack craft operated on principles that defied conventional understanding. They didn't so much fly as slip between moments of reality, appearing and disappearing too quickly for targeting systems to lock on. What are those? Krell demanded, watching in horror as the ghost-like vessels surrounded his flagship. His question went unanswered as precision strikes disabled the Judgment's propulsion, weapons, and communications in less than 30 seconds. Not a single shot was fired at life support or crew quarters, a deliberate choice that sent its own message. Across the Council fleet, commanders watched in stunned silence as their supposedly invincible flagship hung dead in space. Then one by one, the battle groups began to retreat, returning to Council space through the phase gate network. On the Resilient, Jack received confirmation of the Judgment's disablement. Strike teams report mission successful, Admiral, minimal casualties on both sides. The Council flagship is completely neutralized but structurally intact. Jack nodded, open a direct channel to Admiral Krell. When the connection was established, Jack spoke without preamble. Your weapon failed, Admiral. Your fleet is retreating. You have been thoroughly defeated without a single Council life unnecessarily lost. These facts should tell you everything you need to know about humanity's capabilities and our restraint. Krell's alien features twisted with fury and humiliation. This isn't over, human. The Council will never accept your defiance. The Council as it exists may not, Jack agreed. But the galaxy is already changing. 43 systems have recognized Earth's sovereignty and rejected the Council's authority. The Arcadian Confederation has proposed a new interstellar alliance based on mutual respect rather than hierarchical control. Temporary alliances born of fear, Krell spat. No, Jack countered. Alliances born of shared values. For centuries, we studied the galaxy while pretending to be less than we are. We saw how the Council treated developing worlds, enforcing technological limitations, demanding resource tributes, maintaining their position through intimidation rather than cooperation. Jack's voice hardened. We kept our true capabilities hidden because we knew the Council would react exactly as you did, with fear and violence rather than diplomacy. You proved us right. You deceived the galaxy. We protected ourselves while seeking peaceful integration. When given the choice between revealing our strength through conquest or hiding it to participate as equals, we chose restraint. That restraint ended when you bombarded our cities. Jack leaned forward. But even now, even after all you've done, we still choose restraint. Your ship is disabled, not destroyed. Your crews will live. We offer you safe passage home with this message. The era of Council dominance is over. A new galactic order is forming, one where Earth and its allies will never again be underestimated. As the communication ended, Jack turned to President Wilson. The Nexus Gate is ready, Mr. President. The first colony ships can depart whenever you give the word. Wilson looked thoughtful. After centuries of hiding, we're about to spread throughout the galaxy, showing our true faces at last. Not just our technology, Jack replied. Our values, our vision for what interstellar civilization could be. Dr. Wright joined them, his scientific excitement barely contained. The phase bubble can be maintained indefinitely now. Earth remains protected while we expand, and the Nexus network will give our allies instant connection to our protection. What about the Council races that didn't participate in the attack? Liz asked. Many of their citizens oppose their government's actions. Jack nodded. We'll offer them the same opportunity we offer everyone, join a galactic community built on mutual respect, technological cooperation, and true security. Those who accept will find humanity to be the friend we always wished to be. Those who continue to threaten us, he let the sentence hang unfinished, the implication clear. Humanity had finally revealed its true strength, and the galaxy would never be the same. 1 month later, representatives from 67 worlds gathered on the rebuilt fields of Geneva. The phase bubble around the solar system remained, now a shimmering aurora visible from Earth's surface, a constant reminder of humanity's hidden ingenuity and newfound confidence. The signing of the Geneva Accords established the Stellar Confederation, a new interstellar alliance dedicated to mutual defense, technological advancement, and the self-determination of all sentient species. At its center stood Earth, no longer pretending to be less than it was, no longer holding back. As Supreme Counselor Talia of Arcadia signed her name alongside President Wilson, she smiled at Jack, who stood at attention nearby. You know, she said quietly, many of us suspected Earth was hiding something. We just never imagined how much. Jack returned her smile with one of his own, the expression of someone who had carried a heavy secret for too long and was finally free of its burden. Humanity has always understood a fundamental truth, he replied. True strength isn't about displaying power, it's about knowing when to use it and when to hold back. He gazed upward at the iridescent bubble that protected his home world while allowing Earth to finally, truly reach for the stars. But now the galaxy knows we aren't holding back anymore.